Hello students. So far we have reached at the very last part of the spark gear design. In the previous two classes I have already discussed the very basic introductory part, gear advantages, and some of the nomenclatures of the terms of the gears. Okay, there are some few mathematics like modules. Okay, then circular pitch, diametric pitch, backlash. So now today we will go through the design part of the spark gear in detail. So first is the beam strength of gear tooth. Okay. Now beam strength of gear tooth is basically determined by the scientist Lewis. So that equation is called the Lewis equation. And also the load carrying ability of the tooth gear is determined by the equation. So that gives a satisfactory result. So Lewis equation is basically used to determine the beam strength of the tooth gear, and we can also determine the load carrying capacity of this particular gear tooth. Now what is beam strength and what is Lewis equation? So in detail we will go through. Okay. So in any pair of gears having unlike number of teeth, the gear which have the fewer teeth, that means it is called the pinion. So the gear which is having the lesser size, that means a lesser diameter and lesser teeth, so that part is called the pinion, and the gear which is larger in size, that is called the gear. Okay. So larger size wheel is called gear and smaller size wheel is called the pinion. Okay. So will be the weaker. So because the tendency towards undercutting of the teeth becomes more pronounced in gears as the number of teeth becomes smaller. So Lewis equation is basically useful to determine the strength of the smaller gear, that is the pinion. Okay. So here we see this is a particular gear tooth profile. B is the face width. Okay. T is the tooth thickness. Now here we see from the upward one radial load is coming. Now what is that radial? What is the tangential? One thing is the normal load to the gear surface. This is a Wn. This is the primary force. Okay. So this is actually tangent to the base circle. If you draw a base circle, this is the base circle. So that Wn acts as a tangential. So Wn is the primary force. So it can be resolved into two components. One is radial components, one is tangential component. And phi is the angle, pressure angle here. Okay. So Wn is resolved into two components, Wt and Wr. So Wt, this is the Wt. Wt acts perpendicular and Wr parallel to the center line of the tooth. Okay. So this is the center line. So Wr acts along the center line and Wt acts as a perpendicular. Okay. So Wt equal to Wn cos phi and Wr equal to Wn sin phi. Now Wt induces the bending stress which tends to break the tooth and Wr induces the compressive stress, and which is very smaller magnitude. So that is why we can ignore Wr. So we can set up the beam strength with this Wt. So Wt is the design criteria. Tangential load is the primary design criteria, primary designing force we will consider here. Okay. Wt, the tangential load, because Wr is the compressive load and which is acting is a very marginally, very nominally. So it doesn't create any effect on the gear tooth. So Wr we can neglect. So we will take the effect of Wt, because Wt is the most effective force which is responsible to create the bending stress, and that is why the gear generally breaks due to the bending stress. Okay. So we will work further with the Wt force. So Wt in detail, it can be represented as sigma W into B into Pc into Y. Just remember this formula. Okay. Now sigma W, B, and what is Pc? Pc we know the circular pitch. Circular pitch Pc equal to pi d by t. Once again d by t is the module. So we can see Pc is the pi m into Y. So okay. So Pc is the pi d by t that we know from the second class. Okay. Here we see the gear nomenclature. So in that class you can find that Pc circular pitch equal to pi m. where Y is the Lewis form factor or tooth form factor. So WT is also called the beam strength of the tooth. So WT is the tangential load is called the beam strength of the tooth. Now, how we will find out the value of Y, Lewis factor? So, Lewis factor is basically determined. There are several experimental formulations, several what you can say that some of the mathematical parts have been deducted to formulate the value of Y for different types of gears having different pressure angle. So, Y equal to 0.124 minus 0.684 by T for 14.5 degree composite and full depth involute system. Similarly, Y equal to 0.154 minus 0.912 by T for 20 degree full depth involute system equal to 0.175 minus 0.841 by T for 20 degree staff system. These are the value which is which you have to remember. These formulas are very important, okay, to solve the numerical problems. Now sigma W, what is sigma W? So sigma W is the maximum bending stress, or we can say is the permissible working stress. Working stress, that is why it's under base it is mentioned as the W, okay, sigma W. So W is in the subscript because it is the working stress. B is the width of the gear tooth, PC is the circular pitch, M is the module, okay. Now permissible working stress for gear tooth in Lewis equation. Now sigma W, what is sigma W? Is the working stress, okay. So sigma W is basically sigma 0 into CV. What is sigma 0? So sigma 0 is the allowable static stress, or static stress means is the stress at the elastic limit of the material. Remember, in gear design there are different types of stresses will be induced, and every stress has some mathematical relation with the other stress. So it is very much important to remember all the formulas along with the design criteria or design coefficients, okay. So the formulas has to be written in your notebook, and that numerical has to be practiced regularly based on those formulas. Otherwise you cannot remember the mathematical formulas during your exam, okay. So CV is the velocity factor, okay. So CV can be, how can you determine the value of CV? So CV is the 3 by 3 plus V for ordinary cart gears operating at velocity up to 12.5 meter per second. Once again, CV can be also equal to 6 by 6 plus 5 for accurately cut gear operating at up to 20 meter per second. So CV expressions you have to remember with the design condition, that the first condition is up to 12.5 meter per second, second condition is up to 20 meter per second. Now, very important thing, dynamic tooth load. So we have already come to know that what is WT. Now, dynamic tooth load. Dynamic tooth load are basically due to the following reasons. So one reason is the inaccuracy of the tooth pacing, irregularities in tooth profile, deflection of teeth under load. Due to these primary three reasons, the dynamic load appears on gear tooth. So dynamic load is WD. WD equal to WT plus W1. Basically, this is the amount of tangential load which acts as a dynamic load. But for safety of the design, for safety of the gear, we should take few more what we can say safety margin over the value of WT. So when WT is added with some W1 or incremental load, it will be called as the dynamic load. So WD is the WT plus W1. So W1 is the incremental load due to dynamic action. Now how will you determine the value of W1? So W1 is the 21V BC plus WT, 21V plus root over BC plus WT. Now V is the pitch line velocity that you can determine pi dn by 60V. D is the pitch cycle diameter, that is very easy. Now D is the phase width, C is the dynamic factor. Okay. In generally in your question paper or in any numerical problem, the C value shall be given. But unless the C value is not given, but you will have to determine the value of C. So this is the mathematical formula to determine the C value. So C is the K into E 1 by EP plus 1 by EG. So K is the factor depending upon the form of teeth, that is equal to 0.170, 0.107, 0.111, 0.115. Okay, so for three different gear tooth conditions with three different pressure angles, you can find the value of K. Now EP is the Young modulus for pinion material in Newton per millimeter square. Now in case of any empirical formula, semi-empirical formula, it is very much important to know the unit of this parameter, okay, because the value has been determined based on the particular unit. So unit is not necessarily a SI unit, it may be some other unit, so unit you will have to remember. So here EP is Newton per millimeter square, EG is gear material Young modulus in Newton per millimeter square. And what is E is the tooth load action in millimeter. So you have noticed there are several formulas. So each formula you will have to remember, and this is the criteria of gear tooth design. Now static tooth load. The static tooth load, also called the beam strength or endurance strength of the tooth, is obtained by Lewis formula by substituting the elastic limit stress, that means sigma E, in place of permissible working stress. So we have come to know what is WT. So in the WT expression we have noticed that there was a sigma W, that is working stress. But in the static load, that is WS, so in place of sigma W we put the sigma E, elastic limit stress, and other parameters will remain same. So it is very easy to remember. As soon as you remember the WT, you can also remember the value of WS. Okay. So this is the expression for WS, static load. And remember one thing, that static load must be always greater than the dynamic load. So for steady conditions, WS shall be greater than equal to 1.25 of WD. For shock condition, the WS shall be greater than equal to 1.5 of WD. I mean WS is greater than equal to 1.5 of WD. Okay. Now wire tooth load. So we have come to know there are three different tooth loads. Okay. First is the WD, dynamic tooth load, static tooth load, and finally it is the wire tooth load. Okay. Now this is the amount of tooth load. This is basically happens due to the wear. So the maximum load that gear teeth can carry without premature wear can be obtained by using the following. This is the Buckingham equation. So WW is the dP into B into Q into K. Okay. If you want to get the detailed step-by-step mathematical formulation to arrive at the mathematical expression, so you can search by internet. However, it is not required to go through the all detail in mathematical part. Okay, you just have to remember the expression. So here dP is the pitch circle diameter in millimeter, B is the face width, Q is the ratio factor. How can you find out the key? So Q is the 2 into velocity ratio divided by 1 plus velocity ratio. So velocity ratio we know once again TG by TP. I mean gear, number of teeth in gear divided by number of teeth into module pinion. So put gear equal to TG by TP, we can find out another expression equal to 2G TG divided by TG plus TP. So this is the expression for external gearing. And also for internal gearing, there will be a negative sign coming. Okay. Now K is the load stress factor in Newton per millimeter square. So it is quite expected that this such coefficients like K, correction factors or these factors, it is quite expected that these values will be given in your numerical, should be given in your numerical. However, these values are not given, so you should assume some value, but the assumption must be a realistic value. Okay. So in your textbook or in your internet, you can also find out the value of K or some other factors. So you should have the proper idea what will be the range of this particular data. So if the data will be not given in your numerical exam, I mean numerical question, so you can assume that data based on this particular range. Now, causes of gear tooth failure. There are 5 several causes responsible for gear tooth failure. So, first important case is the bending failure. So, we know that gear can be broken due to the excessive braking stress, and due to this reason the WT, the tangential load, has been induced. So, braking stress is a very first and foremost criteria, and due to this reason the gear material generally breaks. And the second is the pitting. So, what is pitting? Is the surface fatigue failure. Scoring means excessive heat generation, abrasive wear, and corrosive wear. So, these are the 5 major factors that are responsible for gear tooth failure. So, whatever the mathematical formulations we have gone through just today's class, so we'll just recapitulate those. Okay. So, first is the tangential load. So, tangential load can be derived by the equation P by V. Okay. P is the power in watt. Now, power equal to, force into velocity. So, here force is the WT and velocity is the pitch line velocity. So, WT is the P by V. Now, CS is the service factor. This is often given for more safety of the design, for safety in the design of the gear tooth. So, the expression is WT equal to P by V into CS. If CS is not given in the mathematical question paper or the numerical, okay, so CS you can assume 1. Unless otherwise the value of CS is stated, you can assume it 1. So, WT is the P by V. So, WT you can also get from this relation that sigma W into B into PC into Y. Okay, so sigma W B into pi M into Y. So, sigma W that sigma 0 into V CV. Sigma 0 is a sigma 0. What is sigma 0? So, it's allowable static stress. Okay, so sigma 0 into CV into V into pi My. Now, very important notes. So, Lewis equation basically applied only on the weaker of the two wheels, either gear or pinion. Generally, pinion is the weaker part. Okay, but must remember that the gear Lewis equation is always applied only on the weaker section. In weaker section among either gear or the pinion. So, when both pinion and gear are made of the same material, the pinion is weaker. When pinion and gear are made of the different material, then this condition shall be used. That means sigma 0 is Y into Y is the deciding criteria. So, Lewis equation is used to that wheel for which sigma 0 into Y is less. That means the important thing is that when you don't know, but you only know that gear and pinion material are different. So, in that case, whether you want to use Lewis equation or not, so in that case, sigma 0 into Y is the deciding criteria. So, sigma 0 into Y for gear we will first calculate. Then, sigma 0 into Y for pinion we will calculate. Now, we will take a look at for which one sigma 0 into Y is less, whether it is gear or it is pinion. So, we will use the Lewis equation only on that particular part for which sigma 0 into Y is less, either it is gear or it is pinion. Now, dynamic load WD, that this is the expression I have already told. Static tooth load, this is the expression that you already know. Okay, now wear tooth load WW equal to, this is the expression that I have already told you. So, these are all about the primary relations for solving the gear tooth design numericals. So, all these mathematical formulas you will have to remember. Not only that, there are several other factors like CV. CV is 3 by 3 plus B, 6 by 6 plus B. These are the conditions that you will have to remember. Value of CV. Okay. Now, one numerical. So, here in the numerical, first is given the gear ratio. So, distance between centers. Just remember, distance between centers. That means the center between the two machine gears. So, center between the two machine gears, that means the gap between two centers is equal to the summation of radius of the two mating gears. Okay. So pinion transmits the 500 kilowatt at 800 RPM. The involute tooth of the standard proportion with pressure angle is by 22.5 degree. That means phi is given 22.5 degree. The normal pressure between teeth is 175 Newton. That means Wn is 175 Newton per millimeter of width. What you will have to find out the nearest standard module. Okay, that means the value of M. The number of teeth on the each wheel, that means TG and TP. The necessary width of the pinion, that means B. The load on the bearing of the wheels due to the power transmitted. That means that due to the power transmission, what will be the amount of load that will be acting on the bearing will also be calculated. So these are all the given data. G is 10, L is 660 millimeter, P is 500 kilowatt, NP is the 1800 RPM, phi is the 22.5 degree, Wn is the 175 Newton per millimeter of width. So this is the formula that we know in the first class. I will calculate the value of TP. So TP is the expression for this. So put all those values, you know all the values like G, like phi, and AW we should consider 1. Now put all those values, we will find out the value of TP. Now we know gear ratio or velocity ratio G, that is equal to TG by TP. As soon as you get the value of TP, we can find out the value of TG, 140. So we get already the value of TG and TP. Now length is the, we know what I have told, the center distance between two gears is actually the summation of the radius of the two machine gears. Just look at the geometry. You can understand that when two machine gears are staying together, just touching their perimeter, then the center distance between two machine gears will be summation of the radius of the machine gears. And that means radius of the gear, radius of the pinion. So from this expression we get the value of dP. As soon as you get the value of dP, as gear ratio is given, you can find out the value of, diameter of the DG also. So we know module. So module equal to D by T. That means dP by TP. Okay. So module for the machine gear will be dP by TP. So from this expression we will get the value of module. Now what is actually asked in the question, the nearest value of the standard module. So we will have to know what is the nearest value that is actually available in the market. So 8.6 is the arbitrary value that is not available in the market. So we will choose the nearest standard module available in the market is the 8. So we will select the module as the M equal to 8 millimeter. Now for module, as we have got module and we have got the diameter of the pinion, so TP will be 120 by 8, that means 15. So number of teeth on the gear will be TG equal to DG by M. As I have already told you, what is the condition of meshing two gears? The module or the pitch circle must be same for the two meshing gears. So that means two gears only will mesh when the module or the pitch circle or the circular pitch will be same for the two gears. Circular pitch means PC equal to pi d by t. That means circular pitch for the two meshing gears will be same, and also circular pitch d by t, that means module will be the same for the two meshing gears. Okay, that means module for gear will be equal to module for pinion. If this criteria satisfied, only then these two gear and this pinion part will mesh with each other, otherwise not. Now the torque is equal to power by the omega. angular velocity. From this expression we get the value of torque. So we also know that torque equal to force into distance. So distance is the dp by 2. So from this expression we get the value of Wt, tangential load. As soon as we get the value of tangential load, okay, so normal load we can also find out. Now it is given that normal load between the teeth is 175 Newton per millimeter of the width. That means total load will be 175 into B. So 175 into B equal to 47840. So from this we know B equal to 47840 divided by 175. That means we get the value of gear tooth width. Okay. So this is the answer. And load, what will be the load? So load means the bearing load is actually the radial load. So radial load we know WR equal to WN sin phi. Put all those value, we get the value of WR. So this is a type of numerical, first type of numerical, and another type of numerical I have already given you. So here you you can notice that a bronze spar pinion rotating at 600 rpm drives a cast iron spar gear at a transmission ratio of 4:1. Transmission ratio means gear ratio, or you can say it's a velocity ratio. Okay. The allowable static stress of the bronze pinion and the cast iron gear are 84 MPa and 104 MPa. So pinion has the 60 standard 20-degree full depth involute teeth with module 8 mm. The face width of the both of the gear is 90 mm, and find the power that can be transmitted. So here are these values are given: NP, velocity ratio, sigma OP. Okay, sigma OP means the allowable static stress. So sigma OP pinion and for gear. Now TP you have got, module got, you have got the also the width. So pitch circle diameter you can find out pitch circle diameter for pinion. So as soon as you get the pitch circle diameter for pinion, you can find out the pitch line velocity. So pitch line velocity when you have, you can find out the value of CV. Now YP, we know the value of YP. YP is the Lewis form factor. Okay. So what is the condition here given? Now 20-degree full depth involute. So for 20-degree full depth involute, the YP expression is like this. Okay. So P put the value of TP here in this expression. So you will get the value of YP. So YP you get, once again you can find the value of YG. So YG means it's the value of TG. So if it's a function of TG, so put the value of TG, you get the value of YG. Okay. So I have already told you that when the two gear materials are different, so what is the criteria for deciding the Lewis equation, on which part the Lewis equation will be applied? So sigma 0 into YP, once again sigma 0 G into YG. Now we looked which part is less. So sigma OP into YP is less compared to sigma OG into YG. That means the pinion strength, this is the strength. This is the pinion strength, this is the gear strength. So we can notice the pinion strength is less than the gear strength. So in case of pinion, we can use the Lewis equation. Okay. So from Lewis equation, we know that sigma Wt equal to sigma Wp. As pinion is weaker, so we'll consider the working stress for the pinion part, not for the gear part. Now sigma Wp is the sigma OP into CV. Now put all those values, we will get the value of Wt. As soon as you get the value of Wt, we know power transmission will be force into velocity. So Wt into velocity. So Wt you have got, and you also know the velocity of P, or the pitch line velocity. So put all those values, we will get the value of power transmission. Okay. So this is another type of example for gear tooth design. Now you can practice many more examples are there in your handbook or in your exercise or textbook. So practice all those examples, and I mean the exercise part also. If any problem persists, you can ask me by email or WhatsApp or telephone. Okay, thank you.